I'm Don Habeger, inventor of Scent Striker, an Alaska-made fishing lure that allows you to turbocharge all your bait setups with the power of fish attracting scents. I'm here to talk to you about how we can use a fish's sensory reception systems to tie better bait setups that help trigger that feeding response. Bait presentation should include 3 sensory activating elements to take advantage of these natural food-seeking systems. When paying attention to these 3 sensing systems, we stack the odds of fishing success in our favor. I'll also explain how Scent Striker is used in laying down a scent trail that leaves that bite-activating breadcrumb right to your lure. Just like fish, humans use sensory perception to make food choices. All that sizzle of a steak on the grill whets our appetite in anticipation of our favorite meal. That's sound. We get excited by an afternoon baking aroma, knowing that we will be served apple pie for dessert after our steak dinner. That smell. And when we pull the rack of salmon out of the smoker, recognizing that lovely darkened orangish appearance of a perfectly done piece of coho. And as soon as it cools, we pop a piece in our mouth. That's sight. The human senses of sight, smell, and sound all affect our food choices. Fish are no different. They also use sight, smell, sound to make their food choices. Using baits that activate the full range of a salmon or halibut's sense of sight, smell, and sound is necessary to optimize our baits to draw out that fish's feeding behaviors. Our bait setup triangle illustration illustrates these 3 primary sensory input pillars. Sight, smell, and sound should be present in all our riggings. If you choose to omit one element from your bait setup, you should know why. For example, Alaska's fishing regulations prohibit the use of bait in some of our waters. Alaska defines bait as any substance applied to fishing gear for the purpose of attracting fish by scent. Therefore, you shouldn't add scent to any lure if regulations prohibit the practice in your area. For the rest of this seminar, we will concentrate on a fish's sense of smell. In doing so, we will touch upon how fish detect odors and how we take advantage of these mechanisms when fishing. So let's take a few moments to look at a fish's olfactory or odor detection system. But first, a disclaimer is in order. My interpretation of fish physiology is greatly simplified through a fisherman's lens of science. I like simple. As far as fishing enthusiasts are concerned, a fish's sense of smell can be broken down into 4 main parts. Number 1, an odor key. Number 2, the epithelium keyhole. Number 3, the recognition wiring, the recognition center. Number 4. Science tells us that odor keys for predatory fish are, by and large, microscopic bits of fish. We'll select one type of odor key example for illustration purposes, which many of us have heard about: amino acids. Amino acids are building blocks of proteins, and proteins are what makes up fish body parts. An example is mussels. They're made up of proteins. Through normal fish activities, molecules of amino acids are freed from bait fish and suspended in the water column. Predatory fish, such as salmon and halibut, pick up these odor keys as they swim or wait in ambush. When a concentration threshold is met, the salmon or halibut's odor sensing epithelium keyhole registers these compounds as food sources. Odor key molecules are thought to momentarily pause and match at the epithelium keyhole. And when these matches are made, a recognition signal is generated. The concept is similar to your cell phone's fingerprint key. Only when the right fingerprint momentarily covers the screen and the match is made, will the right signal be generated to open up your cell phone. Once recognition is made, then a signal travels through recognition wiring and registers in the recognition center. Fish have specialized sensing recognition centers called olfactory bulbs. Humans don't. An olfactory bulb is a specialized portion of the fish's brain that recognizes underwater odors. Finally, when the recognition center is excited by incoming messages of a tasty morsel, it sends a signal down the brain communication line, and another section of the fish's brain tells the body to get active and start looking for food. In other words, the fish starts looking for the odor source, thinking the dinner bell has rung. Now that we know how odor cues lead to food-searching behavior, we should quickly look at a fish's ability to detect odors. One odor experiment shows salmon can smell 1 part per 10 million. Using our milk jug illustration, this would be equivalent to 1 pinhead-size odor molecule, or odor key, in 8.5-inch high gallon jug of milk. That's impressive. Finally, to illustrate the 1 part per billion, that is 1 pinhead-sized amino acid molecule found in a stack of milk cartons 812.5 inches high. That is unbelievable. Incidentally, halibut are thought to detect odors in the 1 part per billion range. A tablespoon holds about 1 million molecules of water, and 10 million water molecules are found in about 2/3 cup. And finally, 1 billion water molecules are about 4 gallons. We all know that there are many tablespoons, cups, and gallons of water in the lakes, rivers, and ocean bays we fish. Although salmon and halibut have very sensitive odor detection systems, the simple truth is we need to cover a lot of water to activate their odor detection systems. So, the more scent you send out from your bait, the better your chances of turning on their food-seeking behaviors. What's the answer to this problem? We've invented Scent Striker to send out lots of odor cues into the surrounding waters so that you can leave that dinner bell smell leading hungry fish to your bait. And finally, one interesting tidbit to end this seminar. One find by one researcher is that a finger wash solution dripped into a tank of hungry fish caused the fish to distance themselves from that odor. For this experiment, the finger wash was the researcher's finger swirled around in a beaker of distilled water for a minute. Ever since reading about that experiment, I now use nitrile gloves when I handle all my bait. Added protection. And lastly, add Scent Striker to all your bait riggings, making sure that you cover the waters with plenty of odor keys. It is added insurance to increase that fishing success. Thank you for joining me for the seminar. I'm Don Habeger, inventor of Scent Striker, at www.scentstriker.com.